Hi everyone, I'm Zach Reinhardt, here to review the new Babymetal record, Metal Resistance. Babymetal is a three-piece idol group that is themed around metal music. Most of the guitar work is done by the guitarists of Dragon Force, so most of the Babymetal music is kind of Dragon Force-esque, big, ballady power metal music with lots of shredding guitars and kind of soaring melodies into the sky to go fight like an ancient dragon king or something. I don't know. And this is their second album. They released an album a few years ago that I did not like very much. It was very disjointed. It didn't really seem to know what it wanted to be. It didn't really meld idol music and metal together. It just kind of stitched them together in some sort of kind of like Frankenstein's monster esque horror. Tracks like Doki Doki Morning and Ine come to mind. And though there were some more straight up like cohesive metal tracks on the album, like Megitsune and Give Me Chocolate, that kind of really blew up prior to the release of that album. When you put it all together, the songs didn't really work together. It just kind of seemed like a random collection of songs. But leading up to this new album, they put out three singles, and they were all pretty straight up metal tracks. Karate, and then the live videos of Road of Resistance and The One were all solid tracks, and they were all like one concept. They knew what they were. They were cohesive, straight up metal tracks, and that's definitely an improvement from a lot of the singles from their last album. So I was thinking maybe Babymetal's found their sound. Maybe they know what they're doing now. They know what they want to sound like. And for the most part, I was correct, and I was happy to hear that. Though there are some kind of strange detours, like the song Awadama Fever, which starts out with like synthesizers and just like a straight break beat, and then goes into like heavier guitars, but with a very poppy melody, and it never really fully commits to any one style. It just kind of sits in this weird spot between them, and then it has like a metal breakdown in the middle, and it gets kind of shoegazy for the outro. It's just like a tin car pileup of different styles. Then there's the song Yava, which, while a bit better than Awadama Fever, is still kind of a strange juxtaposition of styles that don't really meld well together. It's kind of ska, synth punk but it's also got like heavier guitars, and it has like a kind of dubstep metal breakdown in the middle of it. It's also kind of strange though. It's almost there. It's just not quite a fully cohesive track, but it's close. But other than those two tracks, the album is pretty coherent and cohesive, and there was obviously some thought put into how the songs interact with each other when they're in a certain order. And like I said, I really like the all the singles that came out: Karate, Road of Resistance, and The One. I think they're all good tracks, and I was pleasantly surprised to find that the two tracks where their lead singer Sue is not singing, and it's kind of more the backup singers, Yui and Moa. I liked both of their tracks. GJ and Sis Anger are both solid metal tracks. They don't really flirt with pop as much as a lot of the other tracks do, and I like what's going on melodically here, though I feel like the vocals are a bit over processed and kind of unemotional, especially on Sis Anger. But I like the tracks. I like the songwritings. I think the guitars are good. The choruses are big and heavy, and it sounds good. And I was pleasantly surprised to find that those were some of my favorite tracks on here. Instrumentally, it's mostly power metal, like Dragon Force power metal, which makes sense since the guys from Dragon Force are on here. But it also takes influences from thrash metal and metalcore and maybe even some deathcore. But the vocals are consistently poppy and accessible. This album isn't trying to be too abrasive or loud or aggressive. It stays firmly in the more poppy side of the metal spectrum. These songs are all pretty easy on the ears. There's nothing really abrasive about any of these tracks, and they do use some kind of growling and shouting and screaming, but it's all very like sparse, and it just kind of works as an accent to one part of the song. It isn't really a focus of the track, and they're also very turned down and very kind of in the background. And the vocals that are in front are very poppy and like catchy melodies. And it's all very easy to listen to. The vocals overall are passable. A lot of people talk about Sue Metal like she's a really great singer. I have to disagree. I think she's all right. I think she's definitely better than most idols out there, but considering most idols are horrible singers, I'm not sure that that's really an achievement. But she's passable. She can sing, she can definitely hit high notes, and she can sustain her voice, and she has a good understanding of her voice and tone. She's clearly practiced, but she's not anything really special. But my main complaint with the vocals and probably with the whole album is how over processed they are. Some of these songs sound like they could have been sung by a Vocaloid because the vocals are just so processed, and like they take out all the bass and all the grit out of the voice, and it just sounds really flimsy and kind of weak, and it really detracts from a lot of the songs. But overall, this album is decent. There's a lot of good parts to it. It has a lot of highlights, and it also has a few lowlights, and it has several tracks that are just kind of mediocre and just kind of don't do really anything special. They're just kind of filler. But most of the tracks are good. But even the best songs are still a bit flawed. I'm feeling a 6 out of 10. This is definitely a big improvement on what Babymetal was doing on their last album. I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on them. There were some tracks that I really like and that I'm going to be listening to, and they're staying on my MP3 player. But we'll see where they go from here. That's me. Babymetal, new album, Metal Resistance. It's okay.